Hi, everyone. I think I've been talking and you haven't, I don't think I had myself on live. So can you hear me now and see me? Great. Hi, Teresa. I still sometimes miss steps, so my computer's it's just tilted a little different than usual. And I know I've taken photography classes and they say when you take a picture, make sure nothing is coming out of somebody's head. And here I definitely have, whoops, this side, that across right there, that little strip, that's my, let's see, that's a register. And I have a light over there. And the little dot right up there is on the ceiling is a sprinkler head. So I got all my Christmas down except for I still didn't take the garland around my light. Looks like we're doing really good. Anybody have any questions before we start? Or those of you, you couldn't hear me before, have you had a chance, any of you, to play around in Inkscape and try anything different or new or learn anything? I have. I've been working with one technique that I haven't done enough, and I'm not quite sure how to make it work well enough to show you. I think we're going to get started. No questions or anything, huh? Or comments or anything? I'm going to go to my screen then, and I'll show you what I was playing with today and what we're going to do. I need to get everything out of the way and moved over. Here's my Inkscape screen. Let me see if I can get my, yep, I see it's on the screen, okay. All right, this is what I have worked on today, and you can see how tiny it is. But if you'll see next to my inch ruler up here, let me go 1 to 1. Um, you know the function keys that have your numbers on them? Not the function keys, but you have your numbers and then the symbols above. Well, if you hit, that is the function. If you hit the 1, that's automatically setting my ruler to be the exact size, 1 to 1. And since I had checked it in preferences, um, I know that it's set. So I know that this little line that I've made, like right from here to here, is about 3/8 of an inch. And that's what I'm going to work with to make an arrowhead. This one I was playing with. And so after I made it, and you can with your node tool, even after it's made into an arrowhead, do what you want with it here. See? So it's been fun playing with this, and I'm going to show you how to make the arrow. That'll be the first thing we do. So I'm going to go in even farther. We'll also be making all these little zigzags. These are made two different ways. And they do fit on the chain I had already made, just the little arc. I group these and move them up too. I'm going to pull down a guideline just so what I'm doing. Hi Sharon, glad you made it. We're just starting. I was just showing what we're going to do tonight. We're going to be making the zigzags for a Josephine chain, and this is for the twisted picot. Let me show you again my this is my chart, and it hasn't had anything added to it in quite a few years. So it's mostly got basic things on it. I know I showed this last week. The three different ways I've seen Josephine rings, and I've seen split chains just like this, where all the lines are the same. I've also seen them where you either have the line and one side in both, whichever side is the split part of the chain, or just with one half of it. I don't know which is considered right or best or anything. I'm hoping everybody can help me with that. Start and end, I just put the word start, makes it easy with a straight arrow, makes it easier for people to see and understand. Some people just put an S with an arrow, or just put an S for start and an E for end someplace. I use direction arrows if there's something, especially if it's a questionable spot where they're saying, oh, which way am I going when I turn this or flip it or whatever. Um, this I've seen for a shuttle join, and this is a swirl join. That's what Nina uses. And we'll make the Josephine today. For joining peas, I used to see double lines sometimes, but from what I've seen, but like I said, this is an old list, so I may have to change it some. And I'd love to know if you have additions or whatever changes to it. I used to think that the double line was, I think I've seen it used for a joining picot. But then I was seeing, for one thing, this is exactly diagrams what you need for a false or mock picot. And I've seen that joining picots are just made bolder and thicker than regular ones. And then, of course, the twisted picots. And I have seen these. I don't even remember who patterns I saw them on, but this is like for 2 for a small, 3 for a medium, and 4 for a large twisted picot. Now, the thing to do is make sure that this is in your instructions so they know. You've seen the split ring with a line showing this section of it split. It's not always equal sometimes, right? And I've got an equal one there. And it should be, right, Sue, shown so that the abbreviations are appropriate. I should have that in there too. I will add that. I didn't even think about that. And I do a lot. I use off-center split rings a lot of times. So like this line right here, my node tool, and this is something I was going to show you tonight, but let me just show you right on here. Well, first of all, I'm getting my selection. I'm going to not get my node tool. This could be that the split happens someplace up here. But what you'd want to do, I believe, is have another node in here. And if I get my node tool, that's not what I don't know what I did right there, but let me get my node tool. I don't know exactly where my center is, but anytime you want to add just one, now what did I do? I moved my handles, I guess. Go back again. I could make a shorter line that maybe went from here to there. And then you would know that you'd tat your ring. Let's see, I'm trying to think. It's been so long since I've done one. Split ring, yes, in different colors. That's a great, yes, Sue. Sharon. Sharon, I haven't been using color in most of mine, although I did do the split ring a different color. And I've seen it with just this little teeny, it's not a picot, it indicates the beginning of the split chain. There could easily be a different way that people are using now. But what I wanted to show you is that, say I wanted to make an angle in here. I mean, obviously I could just draw it. But one of the things I wanted to show you was if you have a line with two nodes and you know what you want one right in the middle, which always helps when you're making a chain so it can be equal on each side. The chat keeps disconnecting. I don't know. I'm not seeing it in my chat box. Is it happening to others? Now that I've got it selected, these two ends, they're yellow, so I have it selected. And to get them selected, you can either select one, use your shift key to select the other, or you can just draw a box around the whole thing and it selects all the nodes. I'm going to just go up to the upper left-hand corner up here to our add nodes. It'll add it right in the center. See, now I have a new node in the center. Why it didn't center, I don't know, but it usually does. So if I want the thing is, if I want this to be an angle, I need to select it and double click the node. Oh, everything's all kinky here. The node angle. There we go. And then, of course, I'd have to get these straightened out. Get my selector tool again. And this could go wherever, resize it to show, yeah. Like maybe the regular ring goes all the way to right here, and this should be shortened. And then from here to here is your split ring. And then again, it could just be a straight line. I'm going to remove that and just get a straight line back. This would show that you're going all the way over to here, and this is where you're coming out of your ring for the next ring. And then just from here to here would be your split. And I'm going to start using color on all mine. Yeah, that's, I just read, yes, that's, took me a few minutes here. All right. So besides my chart, I also want to show you, any questions on this at all? Comments? Okay, I'm going to close this. Now I'm going to get up one other where I can show you where I actually have my legend on a pattern. And you can see on here, I not only added in, I changed the start and the arrow to green. Also, on this, I felt that it really helped them to see they're going to start here. I didn't put this, I should have maybe put in like an arrow. I think this is all hooked together. Paste down here, showing the arrow going down here. So this is where you start. But the part of the, sometimes the confusion can be where you go from here. And we make the flower and come out here and go around. And you can see here, I just did my split rings. These were even ones. I put special notations sometimes. These are done separate. And the legs, you tat from down to here, because I made the legs are black compared to the rest of the body, which is white. The head is also done in black. Here's the beginning of the split chain. So you would have to hook right here and come down here, and then you can do the second leg and then tie it off. Notations, anything that'll help them. Here was my legend for what I'm using. And beads are usually just black circles or ovals or whatever. I've used like an oval bead for the eye right here. And I just put the legend, I made it the shape that it is in the diagram. So that is it being used. Thank you, Sue. I taught that in Hector, I think back in 2010, something like that. Thank you, Katia. I'm not even sure if I have the pattern up online anymore. I think I had it on my Facebook page, but I'm not even sure. And I know it's not the updated pattern. So I'm going to have to go back and look at that. So this is what we're going to do today. And I'm just going to work down here, start out down here. I'm going to start out with my chain. And there's 1 inch. It's hard to tell unless I back out here. 0, there's 1 inch. So there's my half. I'm going to start right at the 1/2 inch right down there. And you can see as I'm moving, my arrow is moving on my ruler. So I know I can go there and go over 1, 2, 3/8. And I do have my ruler, but if I didn't have my ruler, you know, if I'm starting over here and I'm holding my control key, look how it traces right along the line. It will jump, and it's jumping at 15-degree angles because that's what's set up in my preferences right now. I think that's the default. So where did I go with my 3/8 of an inch? I guess right there. Double click to end it. If you don't end it and you go out here and you've got that long string following you that says want you to put down another endpoint or node, if you hit your enter key, it'll stop. So if I click here and I go over and click here and I forget, all I have to do is hit my enter key and it finishes the line for me. The other thing you can do is keep your line, but before you touch down any place, just go up and click on your selector arrow. Probably works too with the, I haven't even tried it, with the, let me see if yeah, just hitting S, my selector tool made it end where I wanted it to. So, get rid of all these others. Remember, the pen tool makes paths with nodes. So just click on N for my node tool. I do want to put a, I'm going to zoom in here a minute and hopefully get my zoom key. Okay. I'm going to select both nodes. Like I showed you, go in. I'm just going to maybe put this up too. And again, select that center node. And this these set of 4 here is how we can manipulate the nodes. And if we want them to be the corner, or smooth. And if you make them smooth, your handles move separately. And so if you're making a chain, you want to make the nodes symmetrical so your handles are both out. And if you haven't done anything else, when you pull one, the other one goes out. If they're not working together, stop and click on the node again and hit symmetric, and it'll pop them back symmetrical, so you can always get a smooth curve. So this is going to be our chain that we are going to. Another thing you can do is watch when I move this. See how it's moving? I don't think I've shown how if you just hold down your control key, again, it'll move, but it moves by increments, so you can make sure you're pulling it straight. Okay, there's the chain I'm going to use. Do you guys like the purple color, or should I change it to black? Any choices of what you want to see me work with? I'm going to make the zigzag now. And for this, I do want to know my center point. But first, I'm going to, with my selector tool, we're going to use this for our path. And I'm also going to show you just a manual way that I think is quicker. But first, I want to show you this so you'll know how path works. Thanks, Janella. Okay. I'm going to make a duplicate of this. I could just make a copy. All I want is one off to the side so we have our original chain ready. This one we're going to use as a path. And what happens is once you put something on that path, the path itself disappears. So I'm going to show you using the path effects And what I want to do is just be able to know where the center is because it makes everything easier if you can see what you're doing. And now I'm going to make a V shape for my first um, zigzag. And I am going to bring down a ruler line. I'm going to put down where I think I want the bottom of a zigzag to be, the V part, or the top. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my pen tool. Oh, Cherie's pink. It is, yes, it's pink, not purple. It's kind of a pinky, purpley pink to me. You're right. Purple, that's right. You are known. Oh, I forgot about that. Um, I'm just going to eyeball this, to be honest. I'm going to click, go up as high as I think I want my, actually, I think I want my zigzag a little bigger. And then I'm going to go down to where I think it matches. If you wanted to measure from, I'll see I didn't do it, my things, I'm going to hit enter. If you want to measure from the side here to the center and then from this center to that side to see if it's exactly perfect, that's fine. Magenta, a light magenta. All right. And the reason I'm making it as one, to get it exactly even, I made just one and then I copied and duplicated it. But then it was two pieces. And even when I grouped it, I found that it did not work well for this technique. So that's why I've made it as one entire piece. Now that I am also now going to take off to the side. And I want to keep one that I don't get all wonky. So I'm again going to just copy it and paste it. So I have one more. Because this one I'll use to show you the hand method. All right, this is going to be our pattern. And we want to repeat it along this path. And so I am going to first click on my path line. Now, if you hold Shift Control C, you're going to get the path menu. I already have mine up. The other way you remember you can get it is under Path in the menu, go down to Path Effects, and it'll pop up a new panel for you. I already have my panel here, but remember it's blank until I click to get down here in the lower left, the plus sign to get the effect I want. And in order to get an effect, and so that the plus sign is active. If I click off it, notice the plus sign is not active. You have to have your path selected. It could be a circle or it could be an arc like I've made for a chain. So now that I have it selected, I am going to go to the path effects. And the path effects, I'm going to go. Now you can see this is, oh, mine's at the top. When I first, because I just used it last, it's right here. Oh, wait, no, that's not what I want. It's not at the top. Go way down. It's in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For me, it's in like the 7th row. And it's right here. It looks like it's got a big leaf. And it says pattern along path. That's what we want to do. And it did something because I have not, probably because I haven't copied did I copy that? All we want to do with our triangle is copy it. And we want to have it selected with our selector tool. Once we copy it, it's on our clipboard. If you make a chain, make a straight chain, apply zigzags, group them, bend. No, it didn't, Sue. If you figure out a way to do that, let me know. That's why I found it just did not bend right at all. So I'm gonna see out, have this selected. I'm gonna copy it. Now I'm going to go to add the path effect, pattern along path. I'm going to go over here and see, what has happened is it's on single stretched. I do not want that. It's taking this and stretching it over the whole path. We want up here at the top repeated. And hopefully this is not going to go kinky on me. Let me see if I thought I had a control chain around here someplace. Oh, it changed that too. Well, I guess maybe I'm going to have to draw my chain again. Here's what I got. Now, it isn't quite straight, but I can select it like anything else, and I could rotate it. But see, it went with the wonky chain. I did this 3 times before we started out tonight. There's oh, my chain is offset. My snap is on, so it won't go straight. There. One of the things I tell it straight is because both end points, the beginning and end, are right lined up with the corner now, and I can see that my selection dashed lines are straight. I'm just going to make oh, I know. I'm going to duplicate it rather than put it on my clipboard. I'm going to bring this. Hopefully my duplicate isn't going to change anything. And it's not going to change this, so I'm going to still have my copy. I'm going to select this again. Now I'm going to Control C, copy it, my clipboard. I'm going to go, whoops, I got my pen tool, S for my selector tool, and select it. I'm going to get my pattern along path. The crazy thing is that you have to have something selected in order to get your pattern along path, but it wants to do whatever was done last to it. At least, oh, see, it did. It changed my, I'm going to just get it selected. I want it to be repeated. And now I could get and make my, I guess this is where you have to, it wasn't giving, it was leaving my original chains alone. I guess you want to make 2 matching chains and not use that because it works as if it's a clone. And I'm going to just draw now my chain in here because this works just as well. I wanted to start my chain. Let's see, let me get this down. I guess it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna, I can always move my chain. So I'm gonna go here and over to here. Click on end to get my nodes. Select them both. You can see my path is showing here. It disappears, but you can still see it. And what I'll do now is just add the, whoops, forgot to unselect everything. Now, the interesting thing is if I select the, I'm going to go down here where I can get it. I've got the A's, I've got my zigzag selected, and you can see that it looks like my arc is pretty well on there. And I did come out pretty good width-wise. The only thing is, don't some of those look a little wonky to you, almost like they're curved a little? That's one of the weird things about using this technique. But what I found is if I go back to the one I copied, get it up here, and use my node tool, watch, if I pick this in the middle, and I'll do the same to this one. See, this is one of the things. If you have stars or something, you could do this if you're not putting it over the top of something. But this is what happens with on the paths. Oh, and I see right now part of my problem. That's why it's wonky. But you can see how you can change your original if you're working with a shape. But if you look down here, well, actually, I'm going to look at this one. Do I have? And I don't know why this one has shortened up. Mine up here, I don't believe looks like that I had way up here. All right, let me find my. See, this one that I did not come out looking wonky, and I don't know why. I did have to work a little bit with my thing here. Whoops. But it looks like the one side is longer than the other. It looks like it looks like the side edges, and it has to be because of the way it, let me try this. I don't know why this node right there is just not working the way it should. Because I don't think I have anything that's. So let me show you the other way that I think is the easier way, but at least now you know how to put a pattern on a path. But shape-wise, it works well for some things and not for others. I did do one that I've gotten little rings on. So let me show the other way that I think works better. I'm going to take my chain down here, and I'm just going to do it by hand. This is my good one. And I just simply duplicated it, brought one down here, lined the bottom up, double clicked to get my rotation points, and I took my rotation center as right down there. I want this to be stable, the beginning of the left-hand side of the path. And then I just tilted it down. And I could duplicate this one. I want to have the angle right. So I would go up here under the text menu, you can see the flip back and forth. Today I have arrows instead of those little triangles that show you flipping. And now I can move that over here. Now, if I had made these clones, remember, I could change this one and all three of them. What you can do, though, is if I click one and hold my shift and click all three of them, so they're a group, I can make them bigger or smaller. And then if I wanted to add more on, I'd be able to do that. I'm going to group them so I can just see. Now I could fit another two on. I wonder if I can still paste from my clipboard. Oh, but I didn't have it. I would have to get it the right size. I'm holding control when I resize it from the corner so it stays. Now I'm double click it, so it's close. Yeah, now I could just make a duplicate and move the other side. This to me is so much easier than that on a path for the things we're doing. So are there any questions about that? Or anything else you know about doing something like that? Oh, you can't hear any? Oh, you can see the chat. I'm back. I'm sorry, your internet is playing with your sound. So that's the how you can get the zigzag. Now, the other thing that's really easy to do is I just took the oval like I'm making a ring, and I'm going to do object to path, Control Shift C, so that I have nodes, get my node tool. Now remember, instead of just the three, I just turned it into a path, so I have both of them. I'm just going to angle both of them, because we want them to look like twisted peak toes. So we want them to be overlapping and look like they're straight lines. So what I'm going to do is click Control so I can get it right, just drop it when it's right even. Now I'm just going to duplicate it, move it over. Now, rather than here, that looks like two rings or something, really. Or if you line it up so that this looks like almost like an infinity sign, and then duplicate another one. The two the 2 would give you like a small picot. The, whoops, one more duplicate, a medium picot, twisted picot, and one more, a large twisted picot. Whoops, I didn't line those last 2 up, did I? Because we want it to look like it's a continuous, like these threads are continuously twisted together. And then you probably would want to group them if you're going to move them anyplace. Control G. So there we have a twisted picot. The frayed picots obviously just were one of these. See, these are all hooked together, and I bet you if I let's see if I get my node tool. See how I can move them with my node tool and do different. This is what is fun to play with, is you can just do so many different things. But like I said, these are hooked together, so. But what I'm moving is that underneath path. These all are moving according to that underneath path. So when you have your node tool, you're actually, these are the nodes on your path. So you can get some really neat effects if you're doing this. Now, I know there's another way that you can, instead of, you can put them on a path, but use markers instead of actually putting this or your patterns on the path. And then you can use the ones, you can make yourself a marker. Let me see if I can, because we've been using markers, let's go back to the fill and stroke menu. And I'm going to take just one, I'm going to make a marker out of this little circle. I'm going to select it. Let me see what I have here. I forgot how to make it a marker. I can actually make that go up here as a custom marker, and all of a sudden I can't remember how to do it. I've only done it once. Oh, I know. Path. That, or is it object? Oh, here it is. Under object, layers and objects, we're going to say object to marker right down here. Now, when I open up my markers, oops, I guess I have to have something selected. Up here at the top, there's the circle I made because I made it into a marker. And I can use it anytime as a marker. Like if I wanted to put, let me get instead of my arrowhead, let me make a straight line. Okay, I've got it selected. I can go, I want to put it at the end so it's pointing to the right. And there's my marker instead of an arrowhead. And these you can always change. Now, if I wanted it to be oblong, I would have had to have made my Where's my circle? Because I don't have it anymore. I would have had to have made myself an like this. And I could even fill it. If I put a fill in, you get a fill paint. Oh, it's going to be a black fill paint. Okay, I'm going to go object to marker, object to marker, go back to my fill and stroke. I got to select my line now. Go to my fill and stroke. It's under stroke style. I'm sorry, I should have told you. I forgot. You're under stroke style to get your markers. The same as where you change your end points into, rounded instead of flat. And I'm going to go marker. And there's my marker. Now, I'm not sure exactly how we're going to use it, but I guess whatever you make, you could put it any place at the end of a line anytime. So this is it for tonight. I hope you can make yourself a nice little Josephine chain and start making yourself a list of them and label them so you have your own template. And anytime you want them, you can open them up and copy and paste them into your document. Or you could go, let me get a new document here. What I would probably do is just back out. Oops, where's my minus sign? I would get them all on order here, and then I would probably copy what I wanted, control copy. I would open up a new document. So anytime I was making a new document, I don't have a new document. I can now paste them into my new document. And there they are. So if I'm drawing down here, if I'm diagramming down here, right here, I have a chain. I don't have it. Let me group it. It's grouped now. So I could just copy it and paste it, and I can put this into my diagram wherever I want it, if I'm doing my diagram down here. And I can also, these aren't grouped right now. You can see I've got different selection boxes here, but I still could, resize it. I can go to my node tool and change anything, if I wanted, I think I want to group it and see how it works. I guess I make that I'm going to have, even though I grouped it, I have to work on individual ones. But what I would probably do at this point is, if I'm changing my chain that's in my diagram, I would then select these. Oops. Oops, I don't have my shift key held down. I can group them. And if I needed more, put them over here. And I'm going to rotate them. Oops. They're not quite fitting my line right. So I might have to add, let me see if I do this. If I duplicate these, this is the thing that I haven't played with as much as I need to. And then I'm going to and it's not really great, but I could manipulate some of them. Um, Probably best if I don't have the pattern along the path one, which I have a feeling this is. Which is why I can't manipulate it. So these are all things that are different ways to do things, but not all of them are going to work as well for our tatting, as you can see. So that's going to be it for tonight. Um, doesn't look like I have any questions or comments. Start writing down, when you start playing with these things, write down. I mean, we can find workaround ways for things. Oh, wait a minute, shoot. And Janella, I think it's you that mentioned something one time, and I haven't been paying attention to. Uh, Control Shift L, layers path. I bet you I should be able to, yes, isolate. I forget. This is this new thing with the paths that you get all these underneath little pieces that you can select individual things. Let me see if doing that, where was that one I just selected? Oops. Oh, it's over here. I'm going to click Z for my zoom tool. Now that I have this individual path selected, let me get my node tool. See if I can change it at all. Oh, I can. And so even with my selector, I would be able to move it where I needed it on this line and then copy it and paste it to a longer line and adjust them to that. Maybe my chain looks like this. Let's see if I can take these three are hooked together. But if I go on the individual pieces, no, this one's going to stay. I wonder if I've got it grouped. Yeah, okay, there we go. I can now get myself a zigzag line that would show that this whole thing, why it would change right here, probably it would have to have something in intro breaking the line of the path. Um, it could be a single double stitch that's not on the zigzag. Great, Teresa. I'm still here. I will. I guess I'd better close now. I don't know if any, it sounds like maybe nobody is seeing and hearing me. So I'm going to say good night for now, and we'll play again next week.